Here's distinction number 2. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less, doing fewer things. It's better to be world-class at a few things than mediocre at many things. If you look at some of the geniuses, you look at some of the world-class athletes, world-class entertainers, they have become genius at very few things. They might be a mess in a lot of other areas, but they've become genius at the thing that matters the most. See, a lot of us try to be Superman, superhero in every area, or in all things in our business, in all tasks, in all projects. Rather, we should be world-class at a few things and let the rest fall to the side. Here's something that I really had to take heed. There's a giant difference between long work hours and hard work hours. What's the difference? Long is time. Hard is doing the things that might be difficult, that might be challenging, but get you paid. In other words, those are the things that matter the most. So it's not the hours you put in, it's what you put into the hours. And how much hard work, the challenging work, the priority work, the most valuable work you put into the hours is what matters the most. Put those two things together, work long hours and do hard work in those long hours, that's how you end up on the cover of Success Magazine. That's how you end up becoming a superachiever. Give you a perfect example. When we ran this cover story of Sir Richard Branson, we had a client company call us and say, we'd love to hire Richard Branson to come and speak at our conference. We'll pay him $100,000 to come and speak for an hour. Will you call his company and ask if he will take us up on it? So they're a good client, so we decided to call Sir Richard Branson's people, and we said they'll pay $1,000 for an hour of speech. Sir Richard declined. The client said, we'll pay him $250,000 for an hour. We called Richard's people. Sir Richard declined. They said, we'll pay him $500,000. We'll send a private jet. We'll pick him up. He will not be on the ground longer than an hour. $500,000 for an hour. We want him that bad. We called Richard's people. Sir Richard declined. And then they said, how much money? So we called Sir Richard people. How much money would it take to get him to come to this conference? And the quick reply was, no amount of money would matter. Sir Richard has 3 strategic priorities he's focused on right now and will not allocate his calendar to anything that isn't a high priority to those 3 things. I thought, wow, that is what's called focus. I remember telling the story to a friend of mine. I said, Sir Richard turned down $500,000 for an hour. And he said, well, of course, Sir Richard can turn down $500,000. He's worth $4 billion. I could never turn down $500,000. And I said, that's why you're not Sir Richard Branson and worth $4 billion, because he started at the same starting line as everybody in this room. Without much, dyslexic, selling newspapers, magazines, and now he's worth $4 billion, has 400 companies. Still, 400 companies, 3 strategic priorities, no allocation of time or energy outside those 3.